said yesterday, chapter 16. Women are not liars. Keeping your word is a masculine trait. In men or women, a person with a feminine essence may not keep her word. Yet it is not exactly lying. In the feminine reality, words and facts take a second place to emotions and the shifting moods of a relationship. When she says, I hate you, or I'll never move to Texas, or I don't want to go to the movies, it is often more a reflection of a feeling wave than a well considered stance with respect to events and experience. On the other hand, the masculine means what it says. A man's word is his honor. The feminine says what it feels. A woman's word is true. It's her true expression in the moment. When you listen to your woman, listen to her as you would the ocean or the wind and the leaves. The sounds you hear from her are sounds of the motion of her feeling energy. Of course, there are times when she speaks in the masculine style of meaning exactly what she says, but more often and almost always in emotional moments, what she says is the sound of her feelings. Her feminine speech is far more like poetry than like a clear-cut agenda for action. In an emotional moment, what she says she is going to do is actually an expression of what she feels like doing in the moment, her feelings, and therefore what she is actually going to do could change in 5 minutes. It could change every 5 minutes. Whenever you are surprised by your woman's actions and you say to her, but you said, you are forgetting that she has a feminine essence. What your woman says is like a cloud passing in the sky, well formed, coherent, and unrecognizable. Moments later, the cloud is an expression of the precise psychics of water, wind, and air. Your woman's words are expressions of the psychics of her feelings, your relationship, and the nuances of the present situation, seen and unseen. A moment later, these factors will change, and so will your woman's expressions. You might ask her, do you want to go to the movies? She might reply, not really. Then you hug her and spin her around and say, let's go to the movies. And she says, okay. She is not talking about her desire to go to the movies. She is talking about the feeling of your relationship in the present moment. If after she said she didn't want to go to the movies, you said fine and sat down to watch TV, you wouldn't be missing the point. She's not really saying she doesn't want to go to the movies, even though that's what she's saying. This is not lying. For a man, for anyone speaking in the masculine style, to say something that's not true or lying. But for the feminine, true is a thin concept compared to the thickness of her flow and feelings. The truth of the feminine is whatever she is really feeling in this present moment. So when she says that she wants to move to Pittsburgh with you, and then after you have sold the house, she says she doesn't want to move with you, don't start yelling. But you said when she first told you she wanted to move, she was feeling good about the relationship. When she then told you she didn't want to move, she was feeling bad about the relationship. Instead of arguing about what she said or didn't say, establish love in the intimacy first. The basic style is this. Don't believe the literal content of what your woman says unless love is flowing deeply and fully in the moment when she says it. And even then, know what she is probably talking about her current feelings and how they are, not necessarily about the subject of whatever she's talking about. Never base your plans on what a woman says she wants to do, unless she is in full flow of love when she says it. And then expect her to change her mind at any moment when her feelings change. Remember that a woman's feelings may be more sensitive to an unseen realm of nature than are yours. Try to differentiate between your woman's shifting moods and her sense of wisdom. Women are not liars, although they often seem that way to men. This is why a man must ultimately be responsible for making his own decision based on the deepest truth he can't fathom. Otherwise, if he bends his course of truth to compromise for his woman's current and changing expressions, he will probably end up blaming her. You should hear what your woman has to say and feel her depth carefully. Then, after you have fully considered her input, make your best possible decision from your own deep core. This way, if your woman subsequently changes her mind, you won't resent her for compromising. Rather, you can enjoy her subtle sensitivity in changing emotion, emotional gear, knowing you are always making the best choice available to you, having taken her depth of wisdom and her fluctuations of expression and mood wholly into account. Chapter 17. Praiser. The masculine grows by challenge, by the feminine grows by praise. A man must be unabashed and express in his appreciation for his woman. Praise her freely. Men grow by challenge. As a boy, other boys would challenge you in order to inspire you. I bet you can't jump over that fence. In a place like boot camp, you are told you are worthless, slime dog. And this kind of insult challenges you to be your best. So as a man, you probably have a masculine habit of challenging people, including your woman, in order to get her to improve or grow. Only the masculine side of your woman will grow through challenge. The feminine side thrives on support and praise. Telling her, I love the shape of your body, will be much greater incentive for her to exercise than telling her, I hope you don't gain any more weight. Praise always magnifies the quality of your woman that you praise. You're so beautiful when you smile. It's so much more effective than you're so ugly when you frown. Although they both indicate your desire for a smile. When speaking to your woman, it is always better to call the glass half full than half empty. Praise a little food for feminine qualities. If you want your woman to grow in her radiance, health, happiness, love, beauty, power, and depth, praise these qualities. Praise them daily, a number of times. It is a difficult practice for most men to learn, but you must learn to praise the very qualities you feel are not yet praiseworthy in order for them to become so. In other words, praise the tiny quality that you want to give and you want to grow. If you know that your woman will be healthier if she exercises more, don't tell her that. If you feel like an insult to her, a rejection of her the way she is, instead tell her how sexy she is when she sweats in her leotards. Tell her how much it turns you on when she moves her body. Whatever parts of her body you really like, let her know frequently. Praising the things you really enjoy when she exercises will magnify her exercising. On the other hand, by telling her why she should exercise, you are indicating that she is not acceptable to you the way she is. Praise works. Information doesn't. Praise motivates. Challenge doesn't. Try praise specific things you love about your woman 5 to 10 times a day. Find out what happens. Chapter 18, tolerating her leads to resenting her. A man gets resentful and frustrated with his woman when he is too afraid, weak, or unskilled to penetrate her moods and test into love. He wishes she were easier to deal with, but it is not entirely her fault that she is itchy and complaining. It is also a reflection of her lack of being penetrated by love. When a man resigns and simply tolerates his woman's self-destructive moods, it is a sign of his weakness. His attitude has become one of wanting to escape women and the world, rather than wanting to serve women and the world into love. A man shouldn't tolerate itchy and complaining moodiness in his woman, but he should serve her and love her with every ounce of his skill and perseverance. Then, if she cannot or will not open in love, he might decide to end his relationship with her, harboring no anger or resentment because he knows he has done everything he could. The whole point of intimacy is to serve each other and grow and love, hopefully in better ways than we could serve ourselves. Otherwise, why engage in intimacy if your growth and love are served more by living alone? Intimacy is about growing more than you could by yourself through the art of mutual gifting. One of the largest gifts you can give your woman is your capacity to open her heart when it is closed. Sure, she can get herself out of her dark mood, but your masculine thunderbolt of love can brighten her darkness in a way she can't do for herself. If you are like most men, however, you probably end up feeling burdened by your woman's mood. You feel your woman is in pain in the act. You wish your woman would leave you alone and take care of herself. Eventually, you feel worn down or frustrated. You end up simply tolerating your woman's mood while resentment builds inside of you. You wonder, what's her problem? Why can't she just be happy? The feminine part of your woman is either opening and loving surrender easy moments or closing in what ends up being an emotional test of your capacity to open her difficult moments. This cycle of the feminine is like all cycles of nature. It never ends. The sooner you learn to embrace and dance with these moves of closure, the sooner both of you will grow beyond the psychodrama and see the humor of the play. Instead of tolerating your woman's moves of closure and complaint, open her moves with your skillful loving. It is your gift to give. Both of you will grow more by your gifting, by your tolerating. A superior man sees his woman's mood not as a curse, but as a challenge, as an amusement. There are many ways to creatively deal with her moods and help her to open, tickle her, take off her clothes, and dance, sing opera to her and for her. Make animal sounds, shout out her louder than you ever have, and then kiss her passionately. Press your belly into her until she melts. Lift her off the ground and spin her around. Occasionally, talking with her helps, but not as often as humor and physically expressed love. You have tried every creative, humorous, and powerful way of loving through her mood, and she still refuses to let go of her closure? Then simply relax. You have done everything you can. If you are not skillful enough to serve her, or she is not willing enough to receive your gifts, perhaps you are with the wrong woman. Just remember that any woman you are with, if she has a feminine sexual essence, will cycle through moods of closure every day would seem to have no reason to them. You cannot avoid this by changing women or waiting for the mood to stop. You can only develop your skill in serving your woman into openness. It never ends though. Even if you are passionate, fearless, loving, and humorous with her, the weather continually cycles through rainy and dry spells. Night and day cycle in their turn, and your woman will continue to cycle through openness and closure, even when her life and relationship with you seem great. If you find yourself merely tolerating the feminine mood cycle because you have been frustrated by endless discussions that go nowhere, you can be sure that you and your woman are building up resentment toward each other. Don't tolerate her mood and don't talk about it with her. Participate in it. Bloom her into fullness. Move her body with your body. Open her heart with your humor. Penetrate her closure with your fearless presence. Open her heart again and again and again. She could do it by herself, but if she could grow more by herself than by receiving your gifts, perhaps she shouldn't be with you. Thank y'all for y'all time, y'all. This is one of my favorite books, The Way of the Superior Man by David Ida. So we're going to stop right there at chapter 19. Don't analyze your woman. So later or tomorrow, that's what we're going to read. Page 66. Make sure y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Stay safe. Happy Saturday. The best is here. Make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, all that. Global.